Her voice was cold, almost mechanical, and it pierced through me like 1,000 needles. Please don't come to my sister's wedding. I froze, my heart hammering in my chest. I looked at Angela, trying to read her, trying to understand why. But her eyes were hard, emotionless. Her face was set, almost indifferent to the turmoil brewing inside me. She sighed heavily, pinching the bridge of her nose as though speaking to me was a chore. I don't want people to know you're just a cleaner. The words hit me like a slap, slicing through the years of devotion and love I had poured into our life together. My throat tightened and my hands shook, but she wasn't finished. No, she was just getting started. She lifted her chin, her gaze now directed downward at me, as if I were nothing more than dirt beneath her designer heels. I'll tell them you're dead. Never contact me again. The final blow. It felt as if the air had been sucked out of my lungs. I wanted to scream, to shout at the injustice of it all, but I couldn't. The lump in my throat was too big, too heavy. My hands trembled uncontrollably and the tears, those burning, hateful tears, threatened to spill, but I forced them back. In silence, I turned and walked away from her, from the life I had known. I couldn't bear to look at her any longer. For 5 years I had given her everything I had, working 2 jobs, barely sleeping, all to give her the life she dreamed of. She had once called me her everything, her support, her rock. Now I was nothing. I was an embarrassment to her. And just like that, I was discarded. Tossed aside as easily as yesterday's trash. Angela hadn't always been like this. When we first met, she was sweet, full of ambition and dreams. She admired my work ethic, the long hours I put in cleaning office buildings at night and working in a small cafe during the day. She used to say that my determination inspired her. But then she got promoted at her marketing firm and things began to change. Slowly at first, then all at once. She started spending more time with her wealthy colleagues, dressing differently, speaking in a way that made me feel like I didn't belong. The love in her eyes started to fade, replaced by a distant frustration. And eventually I became invisible. The laughter that once filled our apartment had turned into a sigh, a sound I dreaded. It was as though I was nothing more than a nuisance. I had worked so hard to give her the life she wanted, but she had changed. And now she had erased me completely. That morning I sat in my tiny rented room, staring up at the ceiling, numb. My phone lay silent beside me as if mocking me. I had no reason to check it. She had made it clear I was dead to her. But then at 3 p.m. my phone began to ring. First one call, then another and another. Angela. Her sister. Relatives. Friends. Why were they all calling me? Hesitantly I answered. It was Lillian, Angela's sister. Her voice was frantic, trembling with desperation. Where are you? Oh my God, please, you have to come. The line went dead before I could ask her what was going on. I stood there, heart pounding, my confusion growing. What the hell was happening? Curiosity gnawed at me and I couldn't ignore the pull any longer. I grabbed my jacket and hailed a taxi, heading straight for the wedding venue. When I arrived, the extravagance of it all took my breath away. Huge chandeliers, white roses everywhere, guests dressed in lavish designer suits and gowns. I kept my distance, standing near the entrance, trying to blend into the background. Then I saw her. Angela. She looked stunning in a navy blue dress, her beauty undeniable. But there was something off about her. She wore a forced smile as she greeted guests, her eyes constantly darting around the room. But it was the tremor in her hands that caught my attention. She looked nervous, scared even. My heart sank as I watched her. Was she really the woman I had once loved? Before I could dwell on it, Lillian appeared, breathless, grabbing my wrist and dragging me toward the center of the venue. You need to see this, she panted, pulling me through the crowd of shocked guests. We reached a large projector screen and just as I was about to ask what was going on, the video started to play. I froze. The image on the screen was of Angela, sitting at a dimly lit restaurant across from a man in a sharp black suit. I couldn't make out the man's face at first, but Angela's voice cut through the air. My husband, she scoffed. He's a nobody. A cleaner. I've already told my family he's dead. I can't have them knowing I was ever with someone so beneath me. The room fell silent, the guests' gasps filling the air. On screen the man smirked. So you're officially done with him? He asked, his voice low. Angela twirled her wine glass, a cruel smile curling at her lips. By tomorrow he'll be nothing but a memory. I'll change my number, block him. He's pathetic. I can't believe I wasted years on him. My chest constricted. My world tilted, everything I had ever believed shattered. The video continued and the man asked, "What about the money?" Angela laughed. I drained his savings months ago. He's broke. That idiot worked himself to the bone thinking it was for our future. Pathetic. The murmurs of disgust around the room grew louder, the guests whispering furiously. Angela's father stood up, his face red with fury, his voice booming through the room. "Is this true?" he demanded. Angela turned pale. "Dad, Did you steal money from him?" he thundered. I nodded, my fists clenched tightly at my sides. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I had given her everything and now she had destroyed me without a second thought. Angela's eyes met mine and for the first time in years, I saw true fear in them. "You. Why are you here?" Her voice trembled but I didn't answer. I couldn't. What was there left to say? Her mother, tears welling in her eyes, looked at me. "Is it true? Did she steal from you?" she asked softly. I nodded again, my throat too tight to speak. Angela's father turned to the guests, his voice filled with authority. "The wedding is cancelled," he announced, his words ringing out in the stunned silence. Angela gasped, her face pale with disbelief. "Dad, no. You can't do this." He ignored her, stepping up to the stage and grabbing the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, "I apologize for this disgrace. I will not allow my daughter to marry while she has betrayed the man who once loved her. Anyone who chooses to defend her may leave now." Angela collapsed into a chair, shaking uncontrollably. Please, I can explain," she pleaded, but no one was listening. Her fiancé stormed out, her friends turned their backs, and the guests murmured in disgust. The final blow came when her father, his voice cold with finality, announced, "Angela, from this moment on, you are disowned." Her sobs filled the air and I felt nothing. My heart, still aching, began to feel lighter. She had destroyed herself. I didn't need to do anything. She had already done all the damage. I walked out of the venue, the cool evening air embracing me. The sky was soft orange as the sun dipped below the horizon, and for the first time in years I felt free. Angela had shattered me, but now I was free. I pulled out my phone, my finger hovering over her number. With a simple tap I deleted it. No more reminders. No more pain. A new life awaited me, and I would never let anyone make me feel unworthy again.